Hi everybody, Tex-Mex here. Thanks for joining me for another video. Today we're going to take a look at the Ruger Single Six Convertibles, and I'm going to try out and see if they are more accurate with 22 or 22 Magnum. Now, even starting out this video, I know there's going to be a challenge here, because for those of you that know 22s and 22 long rifles, they are very finicky about the ammunition they like. So I expect with either of these firearms, there are certain 22 long rifles that they'll shoot better than 22 Magnum, and certain 22 Magnums they will shoot better than 22 long rifles. That being said, I know a lot of people have issues because of the bore size. The bore size on the convertibles is .224 to accommodate the 22 Magnum, where most 22 long rifle firearms will have a bore diameter of .222 or .218. That being said, we're going to try it anyway to see how we do here, just because I have tested, at least in this particular single six, I have found that it likes this Winchester Super X 40 grain and this Winchester 30 grain Vmax. It's a polymer tip, and in a different test I did, they shot both of those really well. I'm also going to try this Federal 50 grain because I'm really hoping it likes it. I'd like to have the heavier projectile coming out of these revolvers if possible, but I haven't tried this out of either of them, so I don't know how it's going to do. And then as far as 22 long rifle, I know both of them have done well with CCI standard velocity, but to throw another couple in there, I'm also going to do Winchester Super X, just 22 long rifle, and Remington Golden Bullet, just to try something else out. So as you know, both of these tend to come, well, if they're the convertible, they will come with a separate cylinder. So one cylinder is the 22 Magnum cylinder. It's usually the one marked. For example, right now I have the 22 long rifle cylinder in this single six because I used it in a different video. And if you see here, these markings on the cylinder say 22 Win Magnum. So that way you know which cylinder is the Magnum cylinder. And another way to quickly tell is that the Magnum cylinders are completely solid. There's no cutouts like the 22 long rifle cylinders have. So I'm going to start out with 22. We're going to shoot both of these. Now, I've had this single six for a long time. It's the first one I bought many years ago. It's one of my favorite revolvers. It's been with me for many, many hunts. Typically, I do keep the 22 Magnum cylinder in there. This smaller version here is one I just recently purchased not long ago. I bought it off an individual, and it's a shorter barreled version. Both of them have adjustable sights. On both of them, I painted the front sight with a little bit of orange paint just to make it stand out a little bit more. I expect I'll be able to shoot this one a little more accurately just because you have a longer sight radius between the front and rear sight. But who knows? I mean, I'm only going to be shooting here at about 16 yards, so I may be shooting them about the same. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to compare which one of these shoots better than the other. What I'm trying to do is compare how they shoot 22 long rifle versus the 22 Magnum. But just to be fair, I'm going to give the specs here. I don't have the exact specs. I want to say this is just over 6 inches and this is just over 4 inches, but I'll go ahead and put the specs on the screen right now for each one of these revolvers. And with that, let's go ahead, and as I said, I've got right down there, I've got my target set at 16 yards. I'm going to go ahead and get the target camera ready to go and load these up with some 22 long rifle. So we're going to start with the 22 long rifle. We're going to shoot the CCI standard velocity 40 grain. I'll start with the shorter barrel first. Shoot at the top left target. I am going to rest my hands for these shots. Obviously, since I'm trying to go for accuracy here, I want to take out as much air as I possibly can. That's 6 rounds. And now let's do that with the longer barreled. Wow, I can shot this one so much I can really feel the hammer spring is worn in. Ooh, high and to the left. Okay, interesting there. Well, like I said, I have this one sighted in for 22 Magnum. So I'm not really worried that much about the point of impact. I'm trying to see how precise they are and how tightly they group. But it's going to be curious to see if two single sixes like different types of 22 long rifle. I expect they will, because even in the same manufacturer, same model of firearms, you can have two and they will just like different ammunition. That's just the way it goes. So let's go ahead and load in our next ammunition. And now the next ammunition we're going to try is the Winchester Super X. This is a 40 grain. What's it saying here? Plated round nose. Okay, it claims a muzzle velocity. Once again, I don't know what length barrel this is out of, but of 1330. So this is going to be compared to the standard velocity, this is a high velocity 22 long rifle. And that's 6. Looks like it's doing pretty well. Now let's try out of the longer barreled single 6 at the center lower target. Ooh, that's a flyer. And that's 6. So let's go ahead and load up our next ammunition. And the final 22 long rifle ammunition we're going to use is the Remington Golden Bullets. It's high velocity 22 long rifle, plated round nose. It is, I believe it's also a 40 grain. So as usual, we'll start with the shorter barrel, top right target. And that's 6 rounds. That one looked like I was shooting a little lower. And now the longer barrel at the bottom target. And that's 6 rounds. That one started promising, but started to open up. So looks like one of these doesn't like the Remington Golden Bullets very much. But let's go ahead and start setting up the 22 Magnums. I'm going to start with the Winchester. This is the Super X jacketed hollow point. It is a 40 grain. Yes, a 40 grain projectile. I'm also kind of curious how the point of impact is going to be compared to the 22 long rifle. It's only 16 yards. But I expect there'll certainly be some sort of a difference, but who knows, maybe not. So I'll start with the shorter barreled top left target. Ooh, it's a lot louder. Whoa, and very low. And that's 6. It's always amazing to feel the difference between long rifle and Magnum. It really is a lot more kick to the Magnum. Well, and I don't mean recoil, although that's true, there is more recoil, but it's a much louder round. Okay, so let's shoot the bottom target. And that's 6 rounds. Next up is going to be the Winchester. This is a 30 grain, high velocity polymer tip Vmax. I'm going to shoot at the center top target. See where our point of impact is. That's 6. I want to say that was all over the target, but we'll see, we'll see. And then the next one, out of the 6-inch. Okay, there we go. I don't think it did as well this time with the Vmax, but we'll see, we'll see. So let me go ahead and get the last ammunition loaded up. And we're gonna finish off this shooting session with the Federal 22 mag. This is a 50 grain. I'm really hoping it likes this ammunition, but we'll see. So starting with the shorter barreled revolver at the top right target. Ooh, high and to the right. That's surprising. Oh, weird. That's 6. Now let's shoot it out of the longer barreled single 6 here. And that's 6. Alrighty, let's go take a look at our target. And here we are at our targets. So as far as 22 versus 22 Magnum, you know, they did about the same. As I said in my opening, you know, the revolvers are going to like a certain type of ammunition more than others. And if you find the 22 Magnum that it likes, it's probably going to shoot better than some 22 long rifles. And if you find the 22 long rifle it likes, it's probably going to shoot better than some of the 22 Magnums. And that seems to be the case here, because let's see here. As far as the standard velocity, the short-barreled single 6 liked it a lot. The long-barreled not as much, but still did relatively well. And you can see two different, same point of aim, two different points of impact. The only difference between these guns being their barrel length. So, and then this was the Winchester, and the short barrel liked the Winchester. Long barrel did too. I had one flyer here. You know, with 22s, you're going to get a lot of flyers. Sometimes I don't know if it's bullet deformation or just the powder not burning as equally. But you know, these 5 shots are real nice, except for that one flyer, and these 6 shots are real nice. As far as the golden bullets, also pretty well. The top revolver, which was the shorter barreled, seemed to do a little better than the longer barreled. I'm sort of shocked about that. I figured the longer barrel with that sight radius would help. But once again, it's about which ammunition they like, and it seems that short barrel did very well. You got a nice little group there with the 22 long rifle, and not bad again with one flyer out of the longer barreled single 6. When it came to 22 Magnum, similar results. Here we have This was, what did we start out with? With the Winchester Super X. Great little group, one flyer down here kind of low. If it wasn't for that one, this would be a great little group. Out of the long barrel, they all stayed relatively tight. No flyers, and a good little group there, hitting a little lower and to the left. When it came to the Vmax, the Winchester Vmax, both hated it. Which is strange, because I want to say the short-barreled one, I shot out of it once and it liked it, but this time it didn't like it at all. So, you know, when you have to narrow it down. I'd say if you're going to shoot a 22 or 22 Magnum, get about 4 or 5 different brands of ammunition, weights, shoot it, narrow it down to 3 or so, and then shoot them some more, and one will become the winner. Because obviously I just shot that one well that day, but neither of them like this ammunition. They're real spread out. I assume that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I assume that's 6 there. And I only count 4 here, unless there's double strikes, but there are a couple of low holes down here, so it may be like that's probably one of them there. And then the final, the 50 grain, not bad. Not as well as I was hoping. Once again, a flyer up here. If it wasn't for that one, you have 5 decent little rounds there close to the center. And as far as the longer barreled, didn't seem to like it as much. You had a couple kind of on the outside there, and 4 in a tighter group. So if you're asking, will the Single Six shoot 22 long rifle well, even though it's got a chamber meant to shoot 22 Magnum, then the answer is yes. I mean, look how well this is doing with 22 long rifle. Those are good groups. So, and compared to the groups of the 22 Magnum, nothing terribly significant. Once you find ammunition it likes, it's going to shoot a lot better. Like, for instance, it really liked the Winchester Super X. Both of them shot that one relatively well. Another impressive thing is that the point of impacts were relatively similar between the 22 and 22 long rifle. I expect if I started going out, you know, to further distances, that would change, but I'm not going to be shooting open sights 22 long rifle or Magnum out of a small revolver at very long distances. I think 15, 16 yards is probably about what I'm going to do. 20, 25 yards at that point, these targets start looking tiny compared to those front sights. So anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this shoot as much as I did, and I will see you in the next video.